Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd share with you a little story back from when I first broke into the business. I was mostly doing stage at that time, and I was pretty excited about what I was doing. And I was cast in the play West Side Story as Officer Krupke. It's not a huge role, but it was 128 performances, if my memory serves me correctly. And I must admit, I was getting very bored. It was getting very tedious work. And I discovered it was maybe not something that I would want to do in the long run, which is one of the reasons why I switched to film, I think. But nonetheless, it was quite an experience. I had a dressing room that was in the corner of a larger room. And in the larger room, you had all of the dancers. It's, believe me, a lot of crazy things happen in that room when you're stuck away with a dozen male dancers, all in the age range of anywhere from 20, 21 up to about 28. Oh, crazy, crazy, crazy time. It was a lot of fun behind the scenes, but it got a little boring, on stage. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this, it's a lesson to be learned for anybody that's looking to break into film and or stage, of course. But you're sitting backstage as the play progresses, and you're singing. Even though you're backstage, you have a mic, and you're singing. You're a part in all of the songs that are sung, even though people can't see you. But there's a lot of dead time as well. You spend it in your dressing room where there's a speaker, and you listen for your cues and whatnot. And on this particular night, I guess I wasn't very attentive. Anyways, I heard my cue in the dressing room, and I went out to stand in the wings for my entrance. And I got sidetracked, I guess. I don't know why it happened, but I just missed my on cue or my cue to go on stage. And before I knew it, I'm standing there and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I think I should be on stage right now. And I peered out from the wings, and sure enough, I should have been on stage. A couple of the dancers, one of them took one of my lines, and they kind of got through it and whatnot. And of course, when they run off stage for the next scene, etc., they're all coming to me saying, "Where the hell were you? What was going on? Oh my God!" Blah 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 blah. And here I was getting kind of not lectured, but made to feel pretty badly by a number of the dancers. But they did get through it, and I don't believe the audience noticed it. But I then started focusing on that, which was definitely the wrong thing to do. Because when I got my next cue, I think in the next act, to go out on stage, being Officer Krupke, at one point I have to chase the dancers, the bad guys, the kids, the sharks, or whatever they were, off stage. So I enter on from the upstage, or I should say, yes, upstage right. And I go on and I catch these guys, right? These dancers on stage. And of course, in that particular scene, they break away, and I'm to run across the lip of the stage and catch them. Well, again, I wasn't focusing, probably still ticked off at myself for missing that last cue and not being on stage, knowing I'm going to get a note, from the stage manager about that. Again, not attentive, I guess. Anyway, I bolted a little too quickly to chase the guys, and not at full speed, but at a pretty good clip, I tripped over one of the guy's legs. Well, what I discovered that night was that I bounced really good, and boy, did I ever. Holy crikey. It was like I was being tackled on the football field. It was like, knocked the wind out of me. I slid and bounced across the stage. My fake gun went flying off into the audience. My hat went flying off into the audience, and all I could hear was the audience going, "Oh!" And I think, "Oh my God, I've got to get up and I've got to get off stage." And I had a whistle, and I was supposed to blow a whistle, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't breathe. It knocked the wind out of me. I managed to get up, and you know how when you stub your toe, it's like, oh, 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 but you managed to, walk it off or whatever. That's how I kind of felt, but I couldn't breathe. I get off stage, and God, everybody came over to to console me. Oh my God, it was a shocker for me, and embarrassing as hell. Oh geez. And of course, after all of that, I did survive. It turned out not to be that bad, but a few big bruises and whatnot. But, the culmination of that night ended, of course, with you're taking your bows at the end. Well, embarrassed as hell, I go out to take my bow, and I got a standing ovation. Not for my acting, but for bouncing real good across the stage in the play West Side Story. Lesson there, hey, you have to be present at all times when you are in film or when you are on stage. It's as simple as that. Don't ever get distracted. You will, I guess, as I did, but don't let it get as bad as it got for me that night playing Officer Krupke, okay? Listen, hey, that's the way it is in film, right? And on stage. So take care. We'll be talking to you next time.